this kid basically in tears, turning state witness to me, rolling on the people who are there. I've talked to one of the two guys who fucking did it. He's like, I'm not anti-Semitic. He's basically crying to me. And I'm just like, I don't fucking buy it for a second. Who the fuck would do that sign in my fucking bar? You think I'm just going to sit here? I'm going to make it my fucking mission to put you in lights. My fucking mission. Kid's crying. I just hung up on his ass. I go, I'll give you 1 fucking hour. 1 fucking hour. 2 kids go to temple. Tell me, how do I make this fucking right before I go fucking ape shit? You want to take anti-Semitism classes, you want to do whatever, you make it feel right. I don't need your fucking tears. The Mike Wade kid wasn't even fucking there. Wasn't in the bar. We got the footage, not even fucking bar. Trust me, they're pulling the footage, they're doing this. I'm 20 steps ahead. I'm using everything. I'm like, I am going to come for your fucking throat unless you give me answers. The 2 girls at the bar, idiots. This one girl, one of the waitresses, I just told her, like, you're the dumbest motherfucker I've ever talked to. 25 years old, going on fucking 2 fucking dumb fucking. What I'm saying is, I'm getting the names, I'm trying to be a little responsible, trying to keep together, but I'm on it. I'm fucking on it. All right.
I was playing the other video in the thing that you sent. I was looking at it. Oh, okay.
Does Portnose understand the
This sport knows is what we call it.
does he understand the Streisand effect?
I know, dude. I know. And like,
Break it down.
yeah. I mean, talk about an overreaction.
Yeah, it's like.
Dude, are you fucking crazy? Do you know how much money this guy has invested in his bar and the fact that his employees allowed these people to create negative publicity for the bar? Are you fucking stupid? The guy he's
No, what are you talking about?
bad publicity! The fucking place is gonna lose hundreds of thousands of dollars. Have to shut the whole fucking place down.
Oh, God. Hold on. Dude, if he put 10 signs that said fuck the Jews, he'd get 10 times as many people coming to the bar.
No way, dude. Imagine if he put fuck the Muslims, the place would have been firebombed already.
That may be true, yes.
Yeah, it's fucking true. You're children, and that's why he's saying you're fucking children. This is about making money, you stupid fucks. This is a business, and you just fuck the business.
You don't listen. You came in good. Why do you have to?
Because you two are stupid. This is filth. This is trash. This is a waste of time. I just wanted to remind you how stupid you are. You see, I'm doing the same thing that Dave Portnoy does, but this is my bar, and I'm here telling both of you that you both are stupid employees. When's your fucking dance recital, Princessia?
Oh, you think it was me? Wow.
That was stupid. I'm just making the point that you guys are doing the same thing that they do at that fucking bar. You're stupid people. You're a wasted time. You're losing your life second by second being stupid. That's your choice. I'm here to document it for you. But I just wanted to remind you.
We appreciate that you are projecting how you feel about yourself.
All communication is projection. All communication is hypnosis. I just wanted to remind you.
I know, I agree. You have to be very careful what you.
Oh, hey, Dr. Pepe, you got one of my fucking YouTube accounts clipped because I labeled you as this guy named Longmont Potion Castle, and he's this neurotic prank call guy, and he fucking filed a copyright infringement against me, and now he has to sue me because I've filed an appeal with YouTube. But it's all over a clip of you talking, and he claims that it's his copyright because I use the name Longmont Potion Castle. And it's all because of Chris here on this app who told me to start listening to Longmont Potion Castle.
We don't know who this Chris is, but okay.
He's got a YouTube account. He records Clown House rooms.
You're disciple.
Yes. Dr. Pepe, welcome to Philosophical Indigestion. What's on your mind? So are you guys going to see, you guys are the types of schmucks who are probably booked a reservation and a table already at Portnoy's fucking bar.
Did you hear what happened with Clubhouse? Portnoy, so there's these people that had bottle service, and there's like a huge sign that, where you can put the letters on, black letters at the backlit, and it said "fuck the Jews" and it was pretty big sign, and they're all
but Pepe, the media is making this argument that it's bad for business, and if you had 10 of those signs, you'd have more business. What are you talking about? Chicago, and this place would be packed.
No, it's Philadelphia.
Oh, Philadelphia, even better.
But
Bro,
You're stupid as fuck.
Portnoy's
all right. We disagree on business.
Listen, we've been in the same business. I had a vending machine business. You had a vending machine business. We both installing machines at laundromats. We've been in the same business. We've got kismet. There's a reason why I met you at that gas station that day.
There are some business owners that don't want their establishment to be, what's that place in London, Speaker's Corner? They just want to serve drinks. They, don't want to cause a commotion because everyone who puts up a "fuck this" group, well, that group is going to get pissed off, and the last thing he needs is fights breaking out in his establishment. Well, I did see a video, and it was just, he's American, he looks Middle Eastern, but he had a shirt on it at Lifetime Fitness.
Says $1 trillion.
Israel kills children. And they ended up cancling his membership while
I saw that.
I kind of think okay, you're really
I didn't create that
bringing
meme.
your protest into this place. I would never allow that.
Racist piece of shit.
I would never allow a shirt that says "fuck anybody."
I still found it kind of funny.
Normalizing it. Come on, Diego. Now you're normalizing it. Stop.
Funny.
Stop it. You've been saying in your circles.
Everybody but myself today.
What?
Because
First you call me Pepe, then you call me David.
I never called you David. I never said a word.
it should trigger.
I never used the word David. No, I only heard Pepe.
Because everything triggers the love.
Here's what I'm saying. Come on, it's just a stupid sign. Are you kidding me? It's funny.
A stupid sign. It's not funny.
If I didn't create that meme,
I'm gonna go ape shit on this and do jihad on anybody.
I would say this though, if you were to just think, I'm being dead serious. Think about it. If you were to have a sign that said "fuck the blacks, fuck the whites, fuck the beaners," whatever. That first of all, there could be a physical altercation in the club because of it. And quite frankly, if you have a whole group, it being normalized where you can just say "fuck a whole group" in a club like that. I mean, that's just horrible optics. I think most people, they just wouldn't want to see that kind of shit. I think it's actually was interesting. I'm reading this whole article now. His initial response was, "I'm going to burn these people to the ground, families, everything."
Yes, I think it's what he said.
Diego, bring up Rabbi. He has Timon.
And then he says, "You know what? Maybe it's a teaching moment."
Let's see the bar pass out Illinois record.
His attorney got involved.
Oh.
Diego.
Yeah.
How do you motherfuckers doing?
Randy
How you doing?
He has Timon with him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we were just in an elevator and someone attacked a Jew. It was horrible.
There's someone literally attacked the Jew right now in the elevator.
It was either one of them two.
So it was you or your friend? He's making fun of Nora.
Yeah.
Let's give her a grace. Come on, give
Thank you.
Nora a grace.
It's okay. I understand me, so it's okay. They don't understand me.
No, but you shouldn't put out
So what were you saying? Like his original response was,
Rabbi's not my friend.
Yakov, she has an upcoming trial. You think chatting on a fucking social chat app matters? The girl has legal problems.
you were listening to something. He was explaining in the fucking news story with David Portnoy, and then you
I've
guys
never
just
heard of
spoke out.
King Ma in like years. Okay, but he's retarded.
Oh, now she's saying you're retarded because you saw a Jew being attacked. I mean, that's upset. Okay, fine, we'll go on mute. I'm sorry.
Hey, Melissa, I ate some Sicilian chicken the other night. It was delicious.
King Ma, bye. Come on, Yakov.
What?
I thought Pepe wanted to.
No, I made my point. It was good to see his thought progression from I'm gonna nuclear asses to no, I'm gonna make it a teaching moment.
I have to say this, like, there is. Do you remember? Do you know a guy named Epimenondas?
Season 1 and
Season 2.
Season 2, you fell for Abby. And then,
Y'all motherfuckers can just buy.
He's right wing, but he's a Jewish guy. That's how I ended up.
Come without an sinking shod and wash thy.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So you really.
Jewish lawyer Abby?
No.
Oh, different Abby. Okay.
Mongolian.
Oh,
He
ABY.
didn't get along with her very well. But no, I mean, I remember we would talk about this, like, one of the things, and I kind of can understand the impulse, and even how they might even think it's a good thing, but, like, when, especially if they're young and dumb, like, from college age people doing this shit, like, you really, if you attack them too hard, it's just, you kind of end up looking like the bad guy yourselves as well. And so it's kind of like you have to, I don't know how you would term it. It's like you want to make yourselves hard to hate. And by being, like, looking vengeful, it kind of, it doesn't hit people the wrong way, even if they have a reason to be vengeful.
Wow, that was a real teaching moment, Dr. Pepe. Thanks for providing us with that incredible insight, as always.
Well, I mean, I'm being serious. People are weaponizing the responses of, you know, with the. I won't just, you know, even with what Trump's doing, a lot of people, they're not comfortable with it.
A lot of people are uncomfortable with what Trump is doing. Oh. I'm just saying, Pepe sounds like he's crying or something, like a little baby.
There was one guy who got in my face, and he was like, "Fuck Israel." I said, "Guy, you don't even have balls big enough. There's like, let's say 10 million people, so half are women, and half are like 51% are women.
Yeah, well, saying fuck Israel is okay.
No, it's not. It's not
Why?
okay. What?
Why?
He just got in my face just because I was Jewish, just because I was wearing a yarmulke.
It's profanity, Princessia, bad language, bad feelings.
God damn it, comedian, shut up.
He said it to you?
So he didn't know you?
Didn't know he walked in.
Oh,
that's
Yeah. Fuck Israel. I said, I don't think your balls big enough. First of all, you're gonna fuck half the population that are men. Can do that, you know. I said, can you handle? Can you handle the other half the population?
You think they're all gonna fucking die in a war? They've got to release the hostages now. Release the hostages now.
But Yaakov, every Jew in the world has a right of return to Israel. So
I don't know if you've been, but it's not that great of a return. It's very expensive there, and so as soon as you get citizenship, you gotta pay fucking taxes on your hotel stays, your income. It's not a great deal, Princessia. Nobody wants to go back. People go forward.
Like, if after 9/11, when I was caught in jail, somebody came up to me and said something to me, I wouldn't blame them, because, like, I wouldn't blame them for being upset with me. Well,
did it have anything to do with that attack? You weren't.
But they associate it with Muslims and Islam.
Well, that's really low level thinking.
Yeah, and that was a long time ago. People have grown up, Princessia. They know that it was a scam.
Me, like, being understanding like that. But so when you said that to him, what did he say back?
Is that why you were in the elevator shafts?
It's fine. Like I watched some of the videos.
Nothing. The best way. My mom.
You have thermite detonators with you?
Oh my God, Diego, kick this motherfucker. Now it's just annoying.
No, it's fine.
The best way to deal with bullies is to lean into whatever they're saying. So
you didn't have thermite detonators.
That sign in the club.
no,
It's a bully, dude.
What? The waitresses are so stupid. They lost their jobs. The waitresses are dumb as fuck. The manager is a fucking idiot. They all allowed stupid shit.
Employees that let them
he's
do
a
that
bully
lost
on
their
other.
jobs.
He's a bully on other issues, not on this.
I mean,
Well,
those
People
employees.
make a connection.
If you said fuck the gays, fuck women, it just like literally,
Oh my God.
you would
It
get
would've been
fired.
national outcry.
No, it wouldn't have been a national outcry.
Fuck black people.
No. If you said fuck women or fuck the gays at work, if you allowed these people to put that on a
Fired in a
sign,
heartbeat.
you would be fired from anywhere you worked. And so if they put fuck the Jews,
There's a
yeah, you're
morals
gonna get
clause.
fired.
You could steal money from the cash register and probably keep your job, but when you start putting up hate speech signs at work, you're stupid as fuck and you're gonna lose your job. It's a fact.
Just kids, man.
I know, but the fucking
When you're 20 years old, you're not a kid.
the bottle
Well, I
dance.
mean, they're still young and stupid.
The employees are adults. The kids are stupid. This is what kids do.
Your brain's still
Well,
developing.
bad kids, but people, rebound and change.
Tired of that argument. Yeah, the prefrontal cortex is still developing until you're 26.
Well, let me ask you this though, Yakov. Did you not do stupid shit you would not have done once you were in your 30s? I have. Okay.
No, I didn't do stupid shit in high school.
Well, you were a good boy, I guess. I mean, let's work.
Yeah. I don't know. I thank my parents. They brought me up well. I knew that everything I did had a implication to it, and I'd be punished severely for stepping out of line. So no, I never did any of that.
You
shit.
mean you don't go in elevator shafts and scream that you're plotting with Hamas and ISIS?
Chaco, when you said that to the guy, wouldn't he respond back to you? Or did he just walk up?
Yeah, he just walked away. He looked at me like couldn't.
What was he? What was his
Well, how
background?
old was he?
He was probably half my age. He was probably
See, that's just
30, maybe 35. Not even. I don't know, maybe younger. Maybe he's like 27, 28.
Yeah, but to get into like somebody half your age is, twice your age is space. That's predatory.
Well, look at resistance on this app. He attacked a fucking guy, a random on the street at a protest, and he had to go to court for it. Hired a Jewish attorney, supposedly.
He's actually a very large individual.
No, I think he's actually not a very large individual.
What, physically?
Yeah, he said he was not a large individual. He sounds like he's a large.
Sounds like a 300-pound fat piece of shit.
It's my understanding
Maybe I'm
that he's actually like
misremembering it.
6'3", 6 foot, something like he's a very tall
I
Puerto
think
Rican
what
guy.
Jews need to do is what people told Muslims have to do. They need to disassociate with Israel. They need to say, we condemn what they are doing.
Are you crazy? Now I really want to join Israel. Now I really want to join the Zionists and the Knesset and Netanyahu and Likud. I want to join them.
I used to separate. It's fine. If I go to Rikers, I go to Rikers. I separated Zionism from Judaism all my life.
Isn't that convenient for you? But what about the Jew who's a Zionist? How do you separate the Jew who's a Zionist?
But do you think that?
But now I don't. Now I don't separate.
But the thing is, though, is when I hear people criticize Israel, they're kind of like just sticking it to the Jews in general.
Okay, but
There's over 2 million Jews that don't live. They're not Jewish. 2 million Arabs live in Israel.
The state has been created.
okay, it's still growing, Yaakov. There's still settlements.
This is policies of a nation.
Just say it. They're killing babies.
What do you call it, a nation state?
They're killing
Like
babies.
France, like Greece, like
No,
United
it's
States.
not like France. It's not like Greece.
It's a nation. It's a country. There's borders.
Yeah,
There's
it's a
currencies.
it's a sovereign country. If you were to say
Yes,
that,
it's a legitimate country, and we know.
But hold on a second.
Why it's not a legitimate
If you were to
country.
if you were to make the same argument like regarding France, they have a shared language, culture, and ethnicity and religion. So I mean, like they literally tick all the boxes.
Yes, they have a currency, they have a postal service, they have a government, they have ambassadors
standing
throughout the world,
military.
they're part of the UN, like they check every single
But
box.
Yaakov, you're wrong about the Zionism because the settlements are still being
People gonna build houses, you know that, right? People build houses.
Borders of that country.
Yeah, you just keep going. You just keep building. You just build and you keep growing. It's beautiful to grow. It's beautiful to expand.
Subject to final negotiations.
Oh, there you go. See?
It's a republic. It's growing. It's a growing republic.
And I don't like a lot of their narratives, but I support them. There's one group of people that built Israel.
Build, baby, build. Build, baby, build.
No, it was a Jewish country built by Jews. It's a nice country.
Oh my God!
But let me ask you this question: Do you think that what do you think should happen to them? I'll just ask you that. I don't want to.
Are you asking Diego or are you asking Nuna?
I'll ask you.
They're gonna sing the Shema. They're gonna dance with the Torah. They love the nation. They love the people. You can't stop a good thing.
You cannot separate it because.
Fine, answer it as you will. Answer it as you will.
I will. Because every Jew in the world has the right of return to this. I didn't like.
If your mother's Jewish. If your mother's Jewish.
You have to eliminate that. No more.
If your mom is Jewish, why can't you go back to your to the mainland?
From just random places in the world going to be able to live in Palestine or Israel. Just first. Second.
Wait, what was the second one?
What do we do with Israel? We make it. We have to stop what's happening right now in Gaza.
Stop killing the babies.
Have you seen the images of the starvation? I'm really.
Have you seen the 25 hostages being kept with guns to their heads in somebody's kitchen?
I saw a video of a baby that was like a skeleton.
Yeah, I hope that's not real.
They kill 100,000 babies in Planned Parenthoods every month in America.
I don't think anybody's ever seen this.
Planned Parenthood is a Holocaust. It's 100,000 babies a month in America being aborted.
Whether it was in Eastern Europe, whether it was in Nazi Russia.
1 million Russian soldiers have died fighting in Ukraine.
God damn it, comedian. But if you look at that wide-scale death, that was like clearly visible. We have definitely seen it for it.
But so never again.
You're saying in World War II there were similar conditions?
Way worse. Way worse.
Way worse?
Oh yeah.
Dude, no. At this point,
you're talking about scale of tens of millions, like whole cities literally fucking destroyed. Not you're talking about like a few square mile area. But that was literally people all over. You can look at the pogroms in Eastern Europe. You can look at what the Nazis did. That was a brutal time.
Dude, they yelled bloody murder when the silence of fuck the Jews. Like I would give that like a grain of salt when it comes to the truth. For the pogroms, I mean. That's what I'm talking about.
Yaakov, would you be able, because you're an Israeli citizen, right, Yaakov?
No, of course, no. I'm an American citizen.
Then why do you have an Israeli flag in your profile?
Whoa! What?
You have an Israeli flag in your profile.
Exposed,
yeah. Because I've been there many times.
Showing solidarity.
The Jewish state. It's like, it's like why do people who have nothing to do with Palestine?
No, he comes and goes as he pleases.
But that's not true. If you look after the attacks in France at the Bataclan, like in Paris.
I said that's what I want. I want the same ability that you have to come and go.
You have no right to that, Nona. Don't you understand?
I know.
You have no citizenship, and there's no such thing as the Palestinian people.
When
You're just an Arab from Kuwait.
Okay, but in 2016, when the Islamic terrorists ended up, going into the Bataclan and killing a bunch of people, why did so many Americans that aren't even French have French profile overlays on their profile pictures? I mean, it's not wrong to show like you're an ally to a country that you support.
To a rogue state that has nuclear weapons and won't declare.
You claim that you have the right to return to Palestine because you were kicked out of this land in the Roman era, which is
This is the song that doesn't end. Yes, it goes on and on, my friends. Some people started singing it, not knowing what it was, and they continued singing it forever just because this is the song that never ends. Yes, it goes on and on, my friends. Some people start.
Cynic, okay? I'm against the indigeneity argument.
Here we go again.
I know that the Jews are. Some of the Jews are indigenous, but that's just my point of view. But hold on a second. However, when it comes to the country, okay, they have a country. They built it.
No. They don't have a country.
Yeah, they do. They absolutely do.
They even said the bride was beautiful, but she's married to another man.
No, but let's up an organization. They conspired. They infiltrated European hierarchies and governments, and decided to conspire against the people who have been living there since the fucking Bronze Age.
Cynic, but let's call it what it is. It's not a country. It's a fucking military base.
It is what it is. A military base that seeks to destabilize the Middle East and the Arab world and prevent any sort of Islamic unity that would eventually jeopardize the West or the hegemony of the West. That is the goal of Israel. That's why Israel was established.
So you're trying to tell me that wait, who's trying to destabilize the hegemony, of the West?
Who do you think?
Imagine the United Arab world from Morocco all the way to...
So you're saying that the Arabs want to disrupt us?
No. Just by us having a united entity, which goes from Morocco all the way to Iraq or Iran, this means that we would be extremely powerful to the point that we wouldn't even have to sell oil in $1. We would force you to buy oil in our currency. We would force you to fuck with us. If you decide to fuck with us, we would.
You guys would be fucking slaughtering each other. What are you talking about?
All we have to do is sanction you by preventing you from entering the Suez Canal, and you would literally suffer inflation to the point that your economy would start collapsing.
Not really, because we're the military. No, we're the dominant force in the. Okay, it's not Israel that is the 800-pound gorilla on this planet. It's the United States of America, first of all. And then, of course, when it comes to globally, when it comes to the West, but we can destroy the world. That's just a fact. Okay, so I mean, Israel's insignificant when it comes to our dominance. Now,
you don't know how many nukes they have,
but you think you could?
Yeah, they have nukes. So what? But we can still do it without them. That's a fact.
America destroyed.
But hold on a second. Are you going to tell me that this rift? Hold on. You don't think that this rift between first of all, we can look at Iran. We can look at after the invasion of Iraq. You have the Shias that end up basically have largely been. No, it's not. Now you have largely a Shia government in Iraq, and are you going to tell me that all of these fucking Muslims are going to somehow get along? You guys have always been killing. No, you said Iraq. You said from Libya to Iraq to Iran, like they were going to have solidarity. That is stupid.
I never included Iran. However, Iran, even if you wanted to, the reason there is currently a Shia-based government or uses Shia ideology as its way to expand into the region is because of the West. If the West didn't get involved in Iran, currently Iran would probably be democratic, would probably be secular, and Shiism would be literally on an extreme decline. That's what it would be. But the West deliberately did this, and they deliberately brought Khamenei because they understand that Shi'i Persians are literally antagonists. They're antagonists to the Sunni Muslim world.
Okay, that's bullshit.
So
when it came to
that dynamic to sabotage.
The most destabilizing, you know what was actually very stabilizing, and this is where your argument falls apart, is that before we went and invaded Iraq, okay, Iraq is what kind of kept Iran in check. They fought a bloody 10-year war. They had to, and all of their military spending and defense had to be focused on Iraq. Now that Iraq is no longer who they have to focus on, now they can just go ahead and spend, give a bunch of shit to Hezbollah and the Houthis, and of course they're fighting a proxy war against the Gulf Arab states, not just Israel
What are you trying to get to?
Iran and
yes,
the U.S.
Iran has expanded.
But they were fighting each other before we intervened in the fucking Middle East.
First of all, Iran and Iraq were each other at the behest of the United States. Saddam Hussein got the green light from the United States, and he got his weaponry and his chemical weapons from the United States. Iran was being backed by the United States, if you remember the Iran-Contra affair. So that's what's happening. The United States does this, where it pits two powers against one another without giving a clear advantage to either side, so that they could destroy each other to the point that they both weaken themselves, and the United States comes in with a broom and sweeps them all up. That's what the United States does, and it's done it several times throughout the world now.
You guys have been slaughtering each other for fucking centuries. Before we were the before the United States was a fucking thing. That's all you guys fucking do. Give me a fucking break.
We don't need the United States to intervene. And the West has been slaughtering.
That's right. You don't need the United States to intervene. We don't need to start it, because you guys do it on your own.
Listen, the West has been slaughtering each other at a much higher degree, at a much faster rate, and they have literally 2 world wars to prove it. You have 2 world wars to prove it. Don't even come close to comparing yourself to us. As a civilization, we don't come.
You need advanced civilizations to commit world wars. The Arab world has never been advanced enough to really be the focus of world wars.
That literally butchered millions of themselves and developed weapons of mass destruction capable of bringing an apocalypse to humanity. Do not deserve, shouldn't even dare to come lecture us, who literally have a much more peaceful history and a much more tolerant religions and minorities. Yes, we actually still have ancient minorities within our.
Do you know what the largest? Including our Jews. Do you know what the largest? Yeah. Okay. Do you know what the largest? The fourth largest act of genocide. Okay, was literally against the sub-Saharan African peoples that you enslaved, and they ultimately killed. You castrated all of the fucking males. Some of the males, and some of them were even used as.
Who even classifies that?
Huh?
No one classifies that.
You literally. Yeah.
No one even does. No one even.
Yes, it's literally classified. It's actually number 4.
Slave trade.
The Chinese take the place for number 1.
That is a slave trade that took over centuries. You're talking about. And by the way, we didn't go to these.
And it ended way after the Europeans.
Let me finish. Africa has its own world. It's the largest continent in the world, and it has many nations and many tribes. These people fought each other, and they came to centers of civilization, and they came and sold people in markets, and we bought them for the most part.
Kind of like Libya and Sudan. Amazing.
We don't have an issue with the institution of slavery, nor
fucking shit.
There is no one who has been genocided as a result of slavery. No nation.
You guys have genocided so many people. Literally, where does the word assassin come from? You had a group of Muslims that were such
genocided,
and they were horrible pieces of shit. So they deserved it. But they're literally, you had the assassins that were literally genocided. In other words, there was no living.
The assassins?
Yeah.
That is political. That is a political franchise. These people were a cult. The Mongols literally are the ones who.
But here's where.
Moderators, put me in the queue. I'm back. Put me in the queue. I don't want to interrupt. Go ahead.
Sure, but I would say here's where the hard break is with you.
Literally got the assassins.
Okay, sure. Like when it
That's
comes
the
to
game, Assassin's Creed.
They're not native.
Why
You
would
can say
continuously being brought up?
Yeah,
I want to know who the
he's our
motherfucker
friend.
is bringing this guy up.
yeah, but he interrupts while everybody's fucking.
Well, put me in the queue and give him another 2 minutes each and put me in the queue. Thank you. We'll call you. Don't call us.
But when it comes to
You take yourself so seriously. Have a little comedy in your lives.
so when it comes to
So funny. I don't know what's.
I don't know what's going on.
They're killing babies.
I want to fucking.
They're killing babies.
So like with Israel, all right, they have
They're killing babies. babies! They're killing babies! They're killing all the babies!
With that high pitched sound, dude, we can't do this. All right, there we go.
Why you're here, you motherfucking cracker? Go fucking go read a book.
So I would say this though. Okay, so I don't like having the indigeneity argument.
We went around a circle. Now we're back to the original topic. You couldn't find me a single people or a single religion that we have freaking genocide.
Okay, do you know how I feel about Muslims?
Meanwhile, I can give you throughout literally you
Who just tickles?
I mean, I won't even say the West. I want to include the Roman Empire as Western, and I don't really.
I'll project all over your face.
You know, I've like really calmed down. You know, when you would have met me a couple of years ago about what I would say about Muslims, but
Native Americans. That's all I gotta say.
I'm not even American.
No. Those people were literally gone. They're gone. Inca, Mayans, Aztecs. They're all gone, dude.
Yeah. They were ethnically genocided. Yeah, sure.
The Inca civilization was actually one of the most they just didn't have.
Yeah, they're ethnically genocided. I agree there.
These guys had an industrial age. They were refining metal and stuff. These guys didn't
cynic.
They didn't even have a currency. They were doing exchange. They were living a great life.
Cynic. I'm not denying that they were
disappeared.
cynic. I'm not denying that European Christians ethnically cleansed people who did horrible shit to people. They obviously did that.
Ethnic cleansing is to displace a population when they still maintain their identity and culture and ways of life. No, you genocided them. Their ways of life are gone.
Okay, fine. That's fine. Okay, you can talk about like Mesoamericans and so forth. Yeah, like nobody's.
There are native European populations that have also been genocide.
Yes, dude. I don't know why you're focusing on this. I'm trying to talk about contemporarily.
Like you trying to tell us that we've been fighting for a long time. Okay, we are as a civilization. We have internal conflicts, but for the most part, we are a monogamous group. We have we are by and large a Sunni population. I guess we don't even have a long-term conflict with a group of people called Shia. That's not true. Yeah, we have every now and then we have some sort of tension with but again, look who it was mainly. The main antagonist were the Safavids, were a Turkic dynasty that took over Persia, that forcefully converted the Sunni population into Shiism in hopes that they would be that they could ideologically put them in a position where they can have hate towards the majority Sunni population, so they could give them ideological reasons to fight them. That's the Safavids. That's what they did. So we don't have a conflict, a long-term conflict with the Shia. We don't. There's no such thing as long-term.
Okay, fine. We'll just drop that part because I don't even want to focus on it. Okay, so like when it comes to Israel, obviously I'm an outsider. I'm pretty critical of Israel, but like at the end of the day, it's like I think the state should exist. They should be able to defend themselves.
But why keep saying
they're not even
a
legitimate state, dude?
This is not.
You can say that.
This state was.
I guess that's where we disagree. I mean,
no.
It was a barren shithole. It was a barren shithole before they built it up. Absolutely, it was. Oh, yes, it was.
Palestine was one of the most developed Arab regions in the Middle East. It was to the point when the Palestinians were ethnically cleansed. A lot of them went to the Gulf and went to other countries and helped greatly in educating and advancing those societies. Prior to Saddam Hussein and the invasion of Kuwait, we have contributed greatly to the Arab world. And they'll tell you. They'll tell you, go get any Gulf Arab, and they'll tell you.
This is what I've always found weird. Because and this is something that I found was odd. Is that like, it's my understanding that the Palestinians that were living in Kuwait were largely a very successful group. High percentage of them were part of the professional class. It might have just been because that's who they only allowed to immigrate, were like doctors, engineers, that kind of stuff. But they ended up expelling them because they, were taking the side of
which we didn't. That's just a lie. We didn't take this side.
We just said that we are against foreign intervention in an Arab matter. That this should be solved internally between Arabs. That's what we wanted. But they wanted to bring in foreign forces, and we condemned it. The PLO condemned it. It wasn't even the Palestinians.
Well, I mean, I guess if you go against if you're the ethnic minority in a country, which is a very small country that cannot defend itself against Iraq, and they bring in, the world's superpower to
Iraq
save
did
them.
what it did because it was promised by the Arab countries that they would cover the cost of a war against Iran, because the Arabs feared the expansion of the Shia revolution, especially in countries like Bahrain. In the Gulf, there are Shia, so they didn't want this to expand. So they pushed Saddam, along with the United States, to go and engage in a useless war against Iran. And I don't support Saddam Hussein. Saddam Hussein is an idiot, and I completely dislike Saddam Hussein, but still, truth is true. He went there because he told them, "Hey, man, you need to raise oil prices because I am trying to compensate my debt.
Okay, so these have allowed themselves to be steamrolled by the Iraqi military?
By the Arabs to Saddam Hussein.
Okay, so in other words, just Kuwaiti should sacrifice them. The Kuwaitis should sacrifice themselves.
OPEC refused to increase oil prices so they could cover up their debt. The Iraqis, they invaded Kuwait. It's that simple.
I mean, that's fine, but
forget about it. It's irrelevant. At the end of the day, what you have is...
At the end of the day, as they like to say in the clown house way.
Have taken any other option, even though they would have dealt with the same problem. There's an indigenous people there, and you're gonna have to do some sort of ethnic cleansing to carve out an area that is predominantly Jewish. That's what you're gonna have to do. But it's settled with Palestine, mainly because the Balfour Declaration. And you have what came after political Zionism, which is what is it called? Reform Zionism, I think, yeah, which is Zavatinski. So he's the one who's mainly started propagating this notion in Palestine, and we need to create a Jewish majority in the land. We're talking in the early 1900s. We're not even talking after the Arab revolt in Palestine. So this is not as a result of Arabs, starting to push back against Jewish migration and Jews. We knew what was happening. So that's why we started becoming hostile to the Jews. Because we knew
that's a part. So that's why I don't like having the native discussion, because I'm somebody who's kind of for people having a state that's,
No. You can have a state. I'm a Zionist. I don't disagree. I'm a political Zionist. I believe all the Jews should be gathered up and should be put on a plot of land that is legitimately theirs, or they purchase it, or that the world gives it to them, and they can go and live their lives, because they are not contributors to societies. They see themselves as foreign elements. I'm not saying all of them, but there's the religious portion of them do see themselves as foreign because of their religion, and hence they don't mind being detrimental to that. That's their benefit. So that's what they've done. 109 countries.
But Nick, you don't see Jew as an ethnicity, right?
Well, as an ethnicity, as in a culture and a way of life, yeah, they do have if you want to say a people who follow a specific religion or specific teachings, and they align themselves with the historical narratives of these teachings as an ethnicity, I don't really have a problem. But when you say an ethnicity as in a lineage, a paternal or maternal lineage, no, they're not.
Exactly.
But you don't think that there's obviously lineage involved.
There is lineage involved, as in, yes, you can trace Ashkenazi Jews or a lot of Jews around these different groups of Jews to migrants from the Levant who established these communities, no doubt. But there's a huge conversion rate that took place. And you can see this. You can see this in the DNA breakdowns of these people. So they don't share a paternal lineage, like a paternal, an overwhelming paternal lineage. They don't. The majority of them do not come from this region.
When do you think these conversions happened? What century? Because I don't think most people convert.
The studies. The Ashkenazi Jews are mainly a result of a population, 350 Jews, who migrated to the Italian peninsula, and they established communities over there. And out of these 350, you have an Ashkenazi. This is their source of origin. This is 850 years ago. This isn't from the Roman time. This isn't ancient history. We're talking about medieval history migration.
Convert so late in time. You have Christianity and Islam. Why would people be converting to Judaism?
People convert. I don't know why.
People still convert to Judaism. I mean, they make it just like, you know, I was raised Catholic. I'm not that religious, but
stupid and pathetic.
it would take you like not months, but probably a few years to become a Catholic.
No, from fall to Easter.
Fall to Easter.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you're very dedicated.
You're right, avenues. But that's not the reason why
Well, no, it's
return.
You're right, avenues. But that's not the reason why
return. Why
Well, Israel has it. Well, no, Israel has. It's their laws. I don't know, but they do have like an approved list.
Why?
It's not like it's
Why?
It doesn't matter what happened in the establishment of Israel or what they decide to do their laws. What matters is from the very beginning what led to the establishment of Israel. Why did Jews deserve to come to this land and establish a Jewish state, a Jewish majority state at the cost of an indigenous people? Why?
Okay, I mean, you're asking a question that.
Okay, let me try to explain to you something. Have you ever seen Better Call Saul?
Yeah.
Do you know why he called himself Saul Goodman?
Because Jews get better. They're more trusted as lawyers.
Okay, so why do you think that there aren't just like a million Jewish synagogues popping up all over the country and taking advantage of the fact that Jews are first-class citizens and everybody else is second-class citizens?
I mean,
think about it, bro. Think about it.
No, I think about it, but here's the.
So I think, I think the Andrews. Yes, I think Adams brought up a good point earlier. So put aside the part that the woman was wrong. That's all true.
I think so many women are just sick of, oh God, this guy recalls the rooms. Can you kick this guy out? Because he records the rooms. Sorry, Edward. Sorry, not this room.
Shit, let me get some food. I'm holding my chest. I'm like, oh my God. But, you know, the stuff is expensive. So he really, I just said, okay. There are people like that, you know. There was a guy that I met outside the store, and he was going to go in, and I was at the window, actually. I don't know what I was looking at the window. So anyway, he just said, he says, nice clothes, huh? And I said, oh yeah, some of the best. He said, that's what I've been told. So he looked like, I think he was a young lawyer. So he goes in, comes out saying, boy, it's expensive. And I said, yeah.
Comedy out, please. This is the same guy as the other one. Stop bothering me!
Oh, he supports Israel. I support Israel, but you gotta go, buddy.
It's the subject.
Hard work. Okay, so then why? Okay, but it's just like this weird thing where you guys are wanting to, I don't know, say that they're first-class citizens and everybody else is different. Where it's like they are successful. Okay, but then why is it that you think they're quote-unquote first-class citizens in comparison to the rest of us? Because I know poor fucking Jews and Jews with shitty lives.
Done great in the West, in the United States, and they played the game and they succeeded. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't have a problem with that.
Right, so nobody can answer me though why people aren't just converting to Judaism. If it's a key to getting into Israel, if it's that easy to get first-class citizenship worldwide, why isn't everybody just converting? Think about this for a second.
Wallahu, wallalu, wallalu. Hey, wallah, go back to Jordan. Stop your whys and your complaining.
If you look at, like, for example, one group that I think is very similar to Jews is the Lebanese Christians. Why the fuck is it that they are a small diaspora wherever they are?
Like, and what does this have to do with anything, man?
Hello?
Because
Hello?
they're from the same region of the fucking world. Why is it that they tend to be a small?
Let them be.
Okay, but no. You want to talk about first class, second class citizens. Why is it that you have another? No, you brought it up. Why is it that you have a diaspora? Okay, from the Levant that tend to be very successful. Like literally, the richest man in the world for the longest time was Carlos Slim from Mexico. You look at the Lebanese Christian diaspora; they're very successful people.
That's great for them.
By and large.
And you can't.
But I don't know. Is it because they're monopolizing the system somehow?
It's an ethnicity. You're making my point for me. They can't. Nobody can pretend to just suddenly be Lebanese Christian and make that.
What is it? But what is it about the Lebanese Christians where they do better than other Christians, and they do better than?
They are forced to do this. They have to do this. Otherwise, they're minority.
So everything they have to start over. So everything that they had, they had to work and build a whole new life, and they came to America for that. So when they were in the Middle East, they were pushed out. And they were torn up. So they appreciate
and massacred by Aaron Sharon.
They were massacred by the fucking Muslims. Like, why are we pretending this shit? Okay. So I'm just curious. When Israel felt it was the need to get a PR campaign, what was it that happened in Israel? And I believe it was the 70s with that little camp where the Palestinian Lebanese Christian ended up.
Yeah.
What happened there?
Bro, if there's one thing Israel doesn't know how to do is a PR campaign. That's the one thing they don't know how to do, man.
Well, that's when they actually got negative press, is because I don't know it in details, but apparently Israel had largely secured the area surrounding it and didn't stop the Palestinian Christians from going and killing the Palestinian Muslims.
Which is fine.
But I guess the Palestinian Christians loved you guys. They're amazing.
Palestinian Christians didn't kill Palestinian Muslims.
Hold on a second. The two groups of Middle Easterners that I went to school with, like I said, I went to Catholic school. We were largely Chaldean and Lebanese Christian. They did not. I would say that they're most Islamic-phobic people. Like literally dislike Muslims. I mean, very vocally. I mean, if you look at Brigitte Gabriel, probably the most outspoken person who supports Israel, obviously, but what she has to say about Muslims. You have to understand. It was the reason why, one of the biggest reasons why, is not just because of what's happened in Europe historically centuries ago, but even today. But if we look in the Middle East, I see some of the most beautiful people, a beautiful Christian country, and then a bunch of fucking ragheads come in there and they destroy the fucking place. It's a third world shithole now. Like, we're not the fucking city. It was the Paris of the fucking Middle East for a fucking reason.
Lebanon, we did not destroy Lebanon. This was not a Muslim versus Christian conflict. This was, you had a Maronite Christian nationalists in Lebanon who were egged on by Israel to establish a Christian state in a land which had a 50-50 population almost. So that's what it was. And they were, and Israel did fear that southern Lebanon was becoming a front, a theater for the Palestinian refugees to attack Israel. And that's what they were doing, in a sense. They were engaging in hostilities with Israel because these are people who want to return back to their homes at the end of the day. They're refugees.
Wait, you got me confused. Wait, because you said a lot right there. The Maronite, so Wait. So who was the Maronite that was running it that you were saying? We got to start there.
Jemail. What's his name? Nabil Jemail, I think, yeah.
Okay, and so Israel thought that I guess you got me confused.
Yeah, so that these Maronite nationalists.
I think that Israel destroyed. I don't think that the Palestinian Muslims. I don't think they helped. I don't think Hamas helped. I think they helped destroy.
It's not Hamas.
There was no Hamas in.
Oh my God.
I'm saying Israel for the majority of all the footage that I've seen it's been Israel that's really done.
We're talking about the Lebanese Civil War. That's what we're talking about.
This is way before Hamas. This is way before.
I mean, it wasn't way before Hamas. Hamas existed, but they weren't involved. They weren't in Lebanon. They were in the Palestinian territories. So Hamas has been in the Palestinian territories prior to the PLO showing up. The reason they brought the PLO was to defranchise the Hamas and the Jihad, so Islamist movements. So they brought them in because they were like, okay, at least these guys are secular, and that we would establish a Palestinian government. But I got not to go into that, but for the most part, the Civil War was initiated because of rise of Christian nationalism, or Maronites.
Yeah,
Who were radicals, and they decided to line themselves, egged on by Israel and trained and supplied by Israel, initiated in an effort to create a Christian state.
Yeah.
Well, why should the Maronites, the ethnic people of that homeland, be able to do that?
They're not the only people of that homeland. That's not.
Was that after the Ottoman Empire and the French? Was that after all of that was when that happened?
Yes, that is.
Yes. Okay. So then that would make sense, right? So after they were like colonized and everything, that would make sense that the Maronite Catholics there were wanting to make it like their own. As
I won't say even all of them. It wasn't even all of them. It was just
you know what I'm saying? Like they wanted.
Hold on, I'm gonna look it up. It's my understanding that Lebanon was a Christian majority throughout almost all of its history. So I actually think if we're going to talk about, if you want to talk about kicking kikes out of
Lebanon, it isn't even a country.
We can do you can do the exact, you can play the exact fucking game when it comes to Lebanon.
Listen, we're not again. No one wanted to kick the Christians out or the Maronites. Again, it wasn't even all the Maronites. It was just this specific group of nationalists. That's all, and the radicals. But that was their intention. It wasn't like, oh, we want to get rid of them or anybody wanted to ethnically cleanse Christians. No one wanted to do that. But they were told pretty much, they were egged on by Israel that if the demographics continue and these Palestinians are allowed to establish themselves in Lebanon, which they already were doing, is that this would lead to them becoming a minority, because it was already 50-50 almost. So at the time, so
okay, I got you.
Yeah. So they were egged on, and they wanted to as well. They wanted to feel Christian.
Yeah, because my grandmother, she never spoke bad about. Honestly, she never spoke bad and never talked about the Muslims. She definitely had respect and love for Israel and their people. I know that, but she never talked about the Muslims in any way. And the only thing she talked about was she would call the Syrians. She would call them dirty Syrians, and I don't know why, but she would put the dirty Syrians, and I don't know where.
Lebanese and
because Syria occupied Lebanon as well. After the Civil War, it was Syria. Syria controlled a lot of Lebanon.
Lebanese and Syrians.
Well, because it all used to be one region, like Syria. You know what I mean? Like
there was no Lebanon. This was Mount Lebanon. There was a Mount Lebanon.
Correct.
Yeah. Was no Lebanon.
Right, it was Mount Lebanon, so which was a part of the Syrian Republic, right? So then why did they hate each other?
We didn't hate them. Not all again, didn't represent the majority of Christians.
Yeah.
They weren't. But it was like a specific, a few groups of Maronite nationalists who wanted to create a Christian state who were supported by Israel.
Okay, but when it came to Maronite nationalists and the influx of Muslims, where did these fucking people come from? They came from Palestine.
Okay, well, you have already the populations within Lebanon, like the Shia, like the Druze, like even the Sunni Muslims. These were already there, But the refugee. Yeah, which is we're refugees. We want to go back to our home. Like let us back our places.
But Yes, and this is where I sympathize with the Lebanese Christians. It's kind of like they. Now that they don't, there's no Christian dominance in the fucking shithole.
Christian dominance. I don't know where this is. It wasn't like a Christian.
I mean, they had it. They
was
did.
A state. It was, again, there was no Islamism at the time. There was
Because the Christians ruled the motherfucker.
No, it wasn't really them ruling. It was Pan-Arabism at the time. That was the popular thing. Everybody was Arab, and we're all Arabs. Blah blah blah. It wasn't a rise of Islamism. Again, no, we didn't start this shit. It wasn't us. We're simply Palestinians. We went there and we found ourselves refugees, and we were defranchised. And again, we weren't recognized by the Lebanese state. We weren't given we're not citizens. So what do you want us to do? We organized and we decided to try to take our land back. We want to go back. Everybody, all the Arabs should support us, because at the end of the day, you're with us on this.
Yeah, I mean, no, I don't think a Christian Arab should have to. No,
they have to, because again, there were Christian Arabs as well who were affected and became refugees as well. You don't betray the cause. This is our cause.
Well, if you're talking about Palestine, that's fine. But like the Lebanese Christians,
we are the same people. We're literally the same people. This is nationalism. This is national identity. It's something we developed. Dude, we're not Palestinian. There's no such thing. I agree. This Palestinian is a national identity that we developed in the early 1900s as a response to Zionism. And the rise of nationalism throughout the world, and the notion that you need to have a national identity to create a state. Okay, so we're like,
when you look at every experience,
I guess we can develop a
Palestinian reality.
Okay, but technically we are Arabs. We're Arabs. We're all Arabs. Especially Levantine Arabs. We're specifically, even among the rest of the Arabs, we're literally one people.
Sure, but you're one people that was in the West. They would let a white Christian, like 100 times over, marry their daughter than an Arab Muslim. That is just a fact.
What does that have to do with anything?
In other words, there is that you talk about this Pan-Arabism. That one little fact, one's Christian, one's Muslim. That is a divide that is way larger than your shared ethnic heritage, which is being Arab.
What?
Why are they? In other words, why would Lebanese Christians? Why would they approve of you marrying anybody who wants a Christian over Arab Muslim?
Marriages between religions, like that's not an issue. We've had this. That's not a strong. No one's gonna look down on you for it. No one's gonna go. Muslim isn't gonna.
No, it's hard for
Please don't scroll. I'm just trying to become a big content creator one day, and I have no supporters. So if you have the chance, please subscribe.
And even today, things are fine. Like, it's not like there's issues and contention.
Please don't scroll. I'm just trying to become a big content creator.
It's not a problem. Yeah, we might not marry. Like, there's a low percentage of intermarrying. Okay, but still happens, though. That's neither here or there, At the end of the day, instead of siding with the Palestine, with an Arab cause, state in Lebanon.
He's
like some crazy looking wood structure, like building structure, so like some tower. Like some guys are like trapped inside of that. That's the only part of it.
Looks like a realistic Fortnite drama.
Fortnite.
You can build it.
You know what that kind of looks like? That kind of looks like that's the sign of the ark, and God opened the door and said, "Yeah, suck it, motherfuckers."
We have all the men and women we need. They'll just take animals, please.
There's people trying to they see the flood coming and people are running up, and they're like trying to get in, and then like that trap door opens and it's like, yeah.
See that group of hungry people next to the two camels? Kill them. Kill them. We need those two camels. We need those two camels.
Let us in, boy.
No. She was pretty fine though. I don't care. We have enough family here to create a new race of humans. Oh my god. We're gonna have the coccyx bone forever.
Look at ladies, you could have been on the ship. This is what you would have had.
I know. Like there wasn't Girls Gone Wild at that time. Like people running up in string bikinis, save us, and they were like, no, I need 7 clean cows. Sorry, can't help you. I don't believe it.
Do you have any other good art recommendations, Daniel?
You're
gonna ask him for more art recommendations. Yeah, I respect Daniel's aesthetic palette.
Ooh, what a compliment. Girl. Dude, are you
Look at that. What is that wolf noise? Bro,
are you gonna find a dinosaur in the middle?
what are you doing, dude? Sorry, dude. You're naked right now in a bathtub.
Go on.
Yeah, sorry, I like to splash around.
Religion without, towards your kinsmen in religion, without necessarily causing injustice to other groups.
Not if you're Jewish.
That's the problem.
Causing trouble to other groups is part of the whole modus operandi.
Yeah. Judaism,
You don't understand.
other groups should be annihilated. It's just
It's a very key factor when you produce anything.
Christians. Which can you really blame them for?
Hey, Dean, you were getting drunk the other night, huh? I hear you're black.
You were saying they can't help themselves?
No, they have a history with the Christian world, and the Christian world has kind of went after them, but
Did we really?
Yeah.
No, we've always been. I mean,
we're not talking
I don't like.
West.
I'm very careful with what I say.
Roman Empire.
I'm very careful with what I say because I don't want to sound. Because I don't want to sound like I'm for groups that don't believe what I believe. But I mean, sure, has there been trouble? Has there been a lot of troublemaking? If we're look at some of their diaspora spanning hundreds of years, yeah, sure.
More so than not, kind of. Could you look at
I don't know. I couldn't say that.
It's the religion.
I think 1,000 instances in 109 countries can say otherwise.
Well, there is the fact of the matter that, like I said, some of them cause trouble, definitely. But with that being said, I feel like I do think there's an evolutionary strategy with them that you're always the small minority wherever you are. Are they hyper vigilant and wary of threats? I probably. I mean, they kind of had it rough wherever they went in terms. Well,
They could have just annihilated those populations, but they let them leave. I mean, did they really have it that bad? I mean, that's pretty benevolent, don't you think, to just let them leave?
Christians did, and this is where, Muslims will even call it out. We don't have our hands clean either. I mean, if we're to look at, the worst genocide of Jews, I mean, it's just fucking Christians. Christians, terrorize Jews and treat them shitty. Absolutely.
Not according to Fiddler on the Roof. If you watch the movie and pay attention, they show you why they come and do the pogroms. It's because these guys are causing trouble in the city.
Yeah, I'm not denying that there were troublemakers, but I mean, they definitely were,
The main problem with Jews is usury, man. It's really always been the main problem. It's why they're expelled out of 109. And you'll see that it was usually because of the financial practices. Money lending, interest.
It wasn't the money. It wasn't usury. It was the
main reason.
It was the coin clipping, man.
The what?
You see, Stanek, you're a very uneducated man, dude.
It's usury, bro.
People will try to say
it
that
is usury.
People will try to say
counterfeiting.
Whatever these are.
Dude, they literally clip the edges.
Yeah, I know. That's where it becomes the shittiest anti-Semitic trope, because that was the most common.
Clipping, that's why.
Yeah, that was literally one of the most common fucking thieving things to do, by everybody, literally everybody.
No,
it was absolutely.
That's ridiculous.
That is not the main reason. The main reason is usury, bro. The Christians weren't allowed to do usury. They were allowed to do usury. And you had monarchs who benefited off the usury system that the Jews, so you allow them to do it. You keep your hands clean. You get to tax them. And when the people rebel against the Jews, they don't rebel against the hierarchy.
And this is where I agree with you, Cynic, 100%. Is that you have to understand that when Christians, they skirted their own religious values by getting. I'm being dead serious.
How are you against usury? And then
it's in the New Testament. Give unto Caesar what is Caesar's, and give unto the Republicans what is for the Republic.
So you absolutely had, these.
Welcome back to another episode of Low IQ Dumb People talking about nothing, wasting all their time.
Oh my God. But if you look at the Vatican and Diego and I, but I mean, they deliberately, for a very long period, they were against usury, but
me and Diego are
but I'm not. But I obviously am knowledgeable about their history.
Clubhouse.
I'm not
Had a feature,
secular.
right?
I'm just
Which was a hate.
somebody who
1 in every 20 houses or
He kicked me.
Christ, you totally disrupted me. It was.
very, quite entertaining. I caught him in one of his podcasts. He's about the same complexion you are, guy. Long hair, a little bit younger, probably, I'm not sure what his background is, but he's definitely white. Caught him on his podcast saying the N-word twice. After you said it for the first time, I made a comment. I said, listen, this is not appropriate. The comment said twice, unsubscribe, completely turned off. And this is the problem with that word. This is a word.
Another show about nothing, Jonathan.
If you look at it historically, you were colonized as black people, and now we're calling each other that, and now we're at the tipping point where it might be
logic here, friend. All right, so they just got
watermelon logic.
Hang on. They just got kicked out of country number 89, right?
So they compounding. Like over amount of time, I can make it 1,000. And imagine this being done with a larger sum over a larger group of people. You can develop wealth pretty quick.
And this is the thing that's fucked up is that the Vatican, okay, the Catholic Church in Rome, the Pope, okay, they relied on them, okay, for this. They pushed for this. This is their way of circumventing their
religion.
Yeah, their religion. And so you do, and you know, it pains me to say this as a Catholic person because the Catholic Church, however, was what was largely the dominant Christian power that the kings and all of the kingdoms of the time had to rely upon. They did this dirty shit. In my opinion, Christians were everything.
Do you know the term debated about with Canada in the previous term as well?
The Jews were basically told, hey, you can't do this, you can't do that, but hey, you faggots can do money lending because it's, usury and shit. And yeah, that's what they did.
Do you know that?
And then it's just when things go south, okay, well, it's the fucking kikes that are causing all of the problems. Okay, we're just going to go ahead and kill them.
Oh, we're going to kill them.
That's the problem when you go for lowest price.
No one's there to
stuff like that. They're trying to make money somehow.
Makes no sense. You know Catholics are not against interest rate. You understand?
No, they are historically
against
interest rates. This
even
changed
during the
later
grace
on.
period. Wow.
It's not true. Not true at all.
Just Google it, bro.
Google it. They're not true.
We were very against interest.
Why didn't the Christian world have banks from the very beginning? Why not?
We did. We invented banking.
No, you didn't.
We invented double entry bookkeeping, dude, in Italy. That's exactly what we did. The Jews didn't even know how to have a proper ledger.
Can you get rid of that, comedian?
Get rid of them! You're projecting your own demise that way.
Dude, Diego, this is weird. This is weird.
No, you can't. You go to rooms.
Free the hostages! Free the hostages! Free the hostages! Free the hostages!
It's my understanding they also were guilty of this, to a lesser degree.
We refuse. We are not allowed to have history.
But you guys did. Are you going to tell me that you guys never utilized?
This is why the Ottoman Empire fell. The Ottoman Empire fell.
That's just the means.
This is why, because they were borrowing money from the West with interest, and they just couldn't pay it back.
Yep.
This is why they fell. So they abandoned specific Islamic principles, and they did.
Free the hostages! Free the hostages!
This took place. The rise of nationalism. They started borrowing money from the West, and they got in debt. Nationalism continued to rise, and it collapsed.
So, you can find somebody your weight class. We can get you locked in.
Usury is the worst thing you could do. In Nazi Germany, the reason for the rapid rise of Nazi Germany is because they pretty much got rid of Hindus.
Who created the Ottoman Empire?
And you can say fuck the French, but they civilized you people.
No, they didn't. They colonized us.
Yeah, and so doing they civilized you guys.
No, they didn't.
Anyways, I feel like I don't care about the Jews and their interactions in Europe, their immigration. I don't care about that. I care about my region.
But who created the Ottoman Empire?
I don't know.
Empire. It has to do with the Turks. There's the Turks. They came into this region. They converted to Islam, and they came in at a time where you had crusades. And the Abbasid Caliphs at the time gave them a territory, which is pretty close to Mesopotamia. Anatolia. And they were the buffer between the Muslim world, the Arab Muslim world, and the Western Christian world. So, and pretty much they saw.
Free Palestine! Free Palestine! No more Hamas, no more crime! Free Palestine! Because it's a crime. Free, free, free Palestine. No more Hamas, no more crime. Free, free, free Palestine. Hello? I don't even think I'm on the stage. There's no way that fucking worked. Hello?
You could be Arab.
Hello?
A Gaul.
Hello?
Well, the Romans. That's the reason why. There's marriage and Catholic, because they separate themselves from the Roman.
We were all Ottoman citizens.
We was all kings.
Ottoman subjects.
We was all queens.
We fought with the Ottomans.
I'm 500 years old. I'm a time traveler. Hello?
Pearl, what do you disagree with? Just chill. Okay.
We fought till the very end with the Ottoman Empire, especially as Levantine Arabs. The Gulf Arabs revolted, sure. I mean, technically, they have the right to do so in a way because it was no longer a caliphate. So our loyalty to the Ottoman Empire came from the understanding that it's a caliphate. Once it abandoned Islamic principles and teachings and Sharia, that was it. Like, there's no reason to maintain loyalty.
They have our backs.
However, we were hoping for the best. We fought in that battle against the British and against the Anglo alliance, the British, French, and Aztecs, and all these New Zealand, all these guys. The division that Ataturk led was an Arab division. He led Arabs mainly from Syria and Palestine and Lebanon. We have our battles still there. You can go to these war memorial grave cemeteries, and you'll see from Gaza, from Jerusalem, from Damascus. And they like to ignore that these days. But yeah.
Hi, Pearl.
Oh, what's up, Pearl?
Hey guys, missed you guys. I'm at my parents' house. I can't talk loud.
As a Christian Middle Easterner, you don't have to answer it, but if you were to marry a white Christian guy versus a Middle Eastern guy who comes from Iraq that's Muslim, which would your family have more of a problem with?
What do you think, Pepe?
The Middle Eastern
But that's a religious thing.
Yeah, you gonna make me say it?
No, you answered it.
Pepe.
It's all on you.
There's nothing wrong with that.
In the 1980s, hold on. In the 1980s, a Chaldean girl died.